Hello all, it's a beautiful Saturday and it's been about 2 weeks since I posted my last video. I meant to post one last week, but just got way too busy. Along with learning instruments and stuff, I'm also learning how to juggle making videos, so that's going to be a struggle in itself. Since my first video, I've had some time to think about what I wanted to talk about. As you can tell from the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about what my journey has been and what might have helped me get to where I am today. So if you didn't see the first video, my story is I started playing guitar at the age of 32, and I thought that leading up to that point, it might have been just too late for me to pick up a guitar, learn any instrument. I won't go into too much detail about that video because this video is about something else entirely. Well, not really, it's still about the same stuff, but more expanding on that. When I decided that I was going to make learning an instrument an important part of my life, I really dedicated to put the time aside to be able to learn. I did what I thought was the smartest move, and I signed up for lessons immediately. There were so many things that were overwhelming to me, like playing chords, transitioning, playing melodies, bar chords, singing while playing. My first instructor was a folk musician. He asked me my goals. I told him that I want to be able to jam with people, just jump in a circle and be able to jam at any given time. Little did I know that was going to send me on a journey of experimenting and finding out what music style I really wanted to play, what I could fit and mold to my goals. The very first song he showed me was the chords to a song some of you might know. It's called A Man of Constant Sorrow. It's from that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, played famously by Dan Tyminski, which was very exciting because I love the soundtrack, I love the movie. It was a great lesson because it introduced me to that boom chuck that you hear in so much of this, folky and old time and country music. The lesson went a little something like this. I also want to say there's a key point to this, what I showed it to you, the way that I played it. You noticed that I played it with my fingers. When I first started taking lessons with this instructor, what he told me was that he wanted me to learn how to play with my fingers first and not to pick up a pick. That has definitely changed because now I play with a pick primarily. But it was important, and I did learn a lot from playing with my fingers. Like I said, now I play primarily with a pick. So if I was to do the lesson today, it would sound a little something like this. As you can tell, it sounds a lot more bright and punches through a lot better, which I think complements that kind of music a lot more, which leads me into my next topic. After about 6 months of learning fingerstyle and playing without a pick, I told my instructor that I just felt like I wasn't progressing, and it just felt like it wasn't going in the direction that I wanted to go, and I wasn't getting any closer to my goal of jamming with someone. He told me that I'm not going to jam with other people if I'm not trying to actively play with other people. So I set out on a search and started to look at what kind of music is complementary to jamming. So I started to try to branch out and play with people with different instruments, drummers. I joined a drum circle, and around that same time I met some people that played guitar and other instruments, and I had a lot of fun with it, but it still just wasn't like scratching that itch. I was at work one day and I was just listening to music, had my headphones in, and I'd stumbled across this video that came on shuffle. It was a video of, some of you might have seen it, of Billy Strings playing Dust in a Baggie in the basement, and that absolutely just blew my socks off. It made me, instantly I knew that that's the kind of jamming that I wanted to learn how to play. So I went down this rabbit hole, and what they say is when the student is ready, bluegrass appears. I know the saying doesn't go like that, but still. Just like Billy Strings himself says, I caught the bug. I did. I caught the bluegrass bug. So I immediately started looking online, trying to find jams around the area, and I came across the Idaho Bluegrass Association, and I found a bluegrass jam, a beginner's bluegrass jam, right down the street from my house, just a couple miles. So I ended up showing up there and showed up with my little Taylor GS Mini. I went in there with not knowing what was going on. I was nervous because I'd gone into a place and I was still a beginner, not really knowing what to expect. Everyone was super friendly there. I showed up early to introduce myself and stayed late to talk to people. And they gave me some lists with like the song of the week and stuff. And the lists, some of the songs I knew, but a lot of them, if you're familiar with the Texas number system, it's gonna be all in ones, fours, fives, some twos scrambled in there, some flat sevens, but it doesn't say anything about like, like keys or anything like that. Well, the reason why that is, and it took me about a month of being uncomfortable and trying to figure this all out on my own to realize that, the numbers are so that you can transpose into a different key if you want, and all you have to use is the numbers. So if you're in the key of G, G is the 1, C is the 4, and D is the 5. Just count it out: G, A, B, C, D. And so that was my start. Started to figure it out, and after a couple months, I was able to find out what chords they were using in the song. So like I said, I went in there with a Taylor GS Mini. It's very quiet. It's a very quiet guitar, and when you're in a jam and there's banjos and mandolins and other guitarists, it's hard to punch through. I couldn't even hear myself. I had to like put my ear down to my guitar and listen, and it was just really, really quiet. I sold the 2 guitars that I had at the time. I had a Taylor GS Mini and a Taylor 214 CE. And of course you can see now I got my baby, my D28. Another thing was, at this time I was trying to play with my fingers in the jam, and that wasn't gonna punch through at all. And one big thing with bluegrass is flat picking. So I had to learn, it was almost like learning all over again. I had to pick up a pick and learn how to use the pick. So I was back to a beautiful square one. Fast forward to now, I've gotten much better at guitar, and I'm predominantly flat picking now. I've done open mics and plan to do more. I've since split ways with my first teacher, and I've been taking bluegrass lessons with an awesome teacher that runs jams here in town. And just recently I started clawhammer banjo lessons with him as well, which has been an awesome and fun journey. So the Idaho bluegrass community itself is just something really beautiful and special. Just a bunch of friends sitting around, picking, singing, and having fun. Through the sore fingers and frustrating times when I was doubting myself and thought that I wasn't making any progress, I pushed through. And on the other side of every one of those struggles and doubts comes something way more beautiful than the time before. I know that's easier said than done, but here's a short list of things that have helped me. So 1, aim to practice every day. I say aim because sometimes things happen in life. I had a work trip for a week. In order to get my practice in there, I tried my hardest to find any guitar store or music store around me so I could try to go pick some. I myself try to aim for an hour a day. If I can get 5 minutes in, that's great. Number 2, track your progress. Start recording yourself and look back and see how much you've actually grown. I myself can also get better at doing this, which is a big reason why I started this channel, but it is so gratifying to look back and see the progress that you made. I also set my lesson plans in order in a binder, often hop back to those lessons just to see if there's some early songs I learned that I might have forgot. Number 3, remembering why I started. Music heals the soul. I started this because it's something I want and care about. And when you care about something, you nurture it. So I'm going to play for as long as I can and keep nurturing this. So number 4, join that community. It's like going to the gym. Not that I'm the best at going to the gym, but when you go to the gym, I thought that everyone was looking at me and seeing what I was doing wrong. But I had a friend there and said, nobody cares what you're doing. You're here to grow. It's the same for a jam. Everyone's just trying to become better musicians and be a better person than they were the day before. And it might be hard to go to that first jam ever, but just know that there's only one time that you have to go to the jam the first time. Number 5, don't compare your day 10 to someone's 10 year. I spent countless hours in the beginning comparing myself to people that had been playing for years. I'd go down the rabbit hole and try to find some hope for someone that ended up playing later in life like I did. Number 6, listen to music with intention. You know, when I'm not playing, I'm listening to music and I'm trying to hear how the chord shapes are shaping the melody and how everything is dancing around, how all these other instruments complement each other. Start to listen to the dimensions of the song instead of just listening to the song. I even encourage you to give an ear to music that you might not like. Technically, I liked bluegrass, but it wasn't in the cards for what I saw as the music that was me. But I was wrong, because I was willing to listen to something else. You can try to play along and maybe try to guess the chords that are being played in the song. Then you can try to figure out the key and, you know, figure out your own way to play it. Well, that does it for this video. I kind of just wanted to post this one because I want to be pretty consistent with this. I know I haven't gotten into the point of me practicing yet, and I don't really know what that looks like, but I'm just going to keep going. You know, I really did this so that I could reflect back on all of this progress for me. If it helps someone else in the process, then I'm all about it. So I'll probably end up sharing some songs from like my earliest lessons. We'll just see from there. We're gonna wing this. Hope you somewhat enjoyed the video, and I hope this encourages you to watch the next one. Thanks for showing interest in someone who started to play an instrument later in life.